If you've ever known that something was bothering you, but you couldn't quite name it, or you felt like stuck in your head, trying to figure out what you're actually feeling, this episode is for you. Because today we're talking about journaling, and not like the Dear Diary kind, but journaling as a way to think more clearly, notice your mental loops, and create a little space between what you feel and how you respond. I think journaling is beautiful for that. And if you're already thinking, yeah, I don't journal, maybe you're someone who's like, I've never done it before. It's not my thing. Don't go anywhere. It's okay that you're having that thought, but don't go anywhere. This conversation isn't about necessarily becoming a journal person or doing it perfectly. And we may open your eyes today of why it might be good for you. So I have a great guest for this episode today, Annette Furio, and she is the founder of Season Journals, a brand that helps people strengthen their relationship with themselves and others through intentional journaling. And that's what I want to talk about today. So since launching Season Journals in 2020, Annette has created guided journals around these like major life seasons. And I'll let her talk about that, like engagement and marriage and pregnancy and all the big things that we go through. She's been featured in The Knot, Domino, Pop Sugar, and so many more. Annette, I am so glad you're here.
Shannon, thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yay. Yes, yes. Okay, so I want to like really dive into this because I don't remember. I think it was like on the Huberman Lab or something where he talked about, Dr. Huberman was talking about like why writing things out is so important. Because I guess they did this like really fantastic study that when we've got all the thoughts jumbled in our heads, we don't have these complete thoughts. And so writing them out is helpful.
Yes. Have you ever heard when you have a song stuck in your head, also, you have to finish it to get it out of your head? It's kind of the same concept. So,
Oh,
the act of writing does help stop some of the patterns, the thought patterns, because writing actually takes longer. So you're literally forcing yourself to slow down, and that's what we're encouraging with our products. And just the simple act of writing something down and taking time to process your thoughts in the form of writing helps us just simply by slowing down.
oh, that's so funny that you brought up songs. And I have to tell you, so we're doing this like legacy video for my mom for Christmas. And so we've got all these videos that people are sending in. My son's a videographer. And I was going through like songs that would go well with this. And we had a birthday party for her long ago. And so she gave me a list of like all her favorite songs. I'm like, these don't really go. These don't. Oh, well, maybe this one. It was Landslide, like the landslide.
Yeah.
I listened to it and I was like, oh, these parts are good. I could not get that song out of my head for a week. And now I feel like I've restarted it because so what you're saying is I gotta finish it, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God.
Closing that mental loop.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to have you on because I thought this was so important because when we are feeling insecure, feeling jealous in our relationships, or even if, stuff is showing up at work, we sometimes can really spiral and we just have these just a mountain of thoughts in our head and it feels really exhausting. And like we keep thinking these same thoughts over and over and over again. So tell us, like, where do we start? What's the best thing to do?
Sure. I think starting small is always the best way because, like you mentioned in the intro, journaling has this reputation of being one of those things, kind of like exercising, like it's all or nothing. Either I'm this exercise, buff or nothing at all. But journaling is the same thing. People think they have to do it every day to reap the benefits, and really you don't. Studies shown that even if you do a gratitude journal practice once a week, that still has the same benefits of doing it every day. So starting small, giving yourself grace, and then reminding yourself of why you're doing it, right? So is it to build a deeper connection with a partner? Is it
Mm.
to build a deeper relationship with myself, understand myself better, understand my patterns better? Is it to just have a document of my life this past year to maybe I want to pass that down to my kids one day? Or maybe I want, to reread it at the end of the year. We're closing out the year and I want to reflect on what my year was. So there's a lot of different reasons why people journal. So finding your reason and then not making it another thing to do, but something that you
Mhm.
enjoy doing. So have a nice ritual when you journal. Have a nice pen, have a nice candle, have a nice, time of day. Maybe it's the morning, maybe it's the evening. Make it something special for yourself, and that's going to keep you coming back to it. But really, if all you could do is jot down a few things in the middle of your morning, in the middle of grabbing a cup of coffee, that's fine too. It doesn't also have to be this big production.
I'm
You can
so
make it your own.
I'm so glad that you said that because when I like first started journaling and then even when I picked it back up, and by the way, I meant to have it handy. You sent me one of your journal. It's so beautiful. They're
Oh,
so
thank you.
fantastic. So I have been savoring it for January 1 to, like,
Oh,
start
good.
fresh January 1. So thank you for that, and we will let everyone know where to go. You're going to want to get one of these journals, so we'll let everyone know at the end where they can go to do that. But I'm glad that you said you kinda don't have to do it in any particular way, because when I first started, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta recap my whole freaking day." I mean, it was like that. And then I started realizing, no, I don't. I can just pick the things I want to remember about today, or the things that are troubling me for today, or the things that just keep showing up for me and writing them down. So you can really do it however you want.
Exactly. And with the Everyday Positive Journal, that journal you're mentioning, we specifically designed it to be simple prompts. So prompted, all of our journals are guided prompted journals. So that is also another great starting
Yes.
point to have questions to work from already. So the format is you write a word of the day. So a word to guide your day, an act of self-love that you're going to do for you, an act of kindness that you're going to put out into the world, do for somebody else, a space to write gratitude, and a space to write positive thoughts from the day, just a few lines for each of those categories. And that is one way to kind of start to train your brain how to create a journal practice without having the blank page staring you in the face. Um, so we try to make it simple and effective. All those things have positive effects. Doing something for ourselves, self-love. You're saying, I'm going to do this. And then hopefully you do it. Maybe you don't get around to it that day, but you wrote it down that this is something I want to do for me. This is how I can help somebody else. Studies have shown that, doing something for someone else also comes back to us, and feelings of positivity and gratitude. So, it's just this positive continuum that we're trying to establish.
Yes, and that's why I loved your journal so much because it has the prompts in there, and you're right, like, sometimes when it's just this blank page, it's like, I don't even know where to begin, and I think it's so good because what you'll notice is, okay, I have the prompt, and then that brought on, something else that I was thinking, or that reminds me of this, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, it's funny. I have to tell this story because I don't know why this popped in my head. I have not thought about this for 18 years, but I was thinking about our interview today and this old memory popped up. I was dating this guy and it was way back. I still lived in an apartment, single in an apartment. and I was journaling at the time, but I was doing it, like, on the computer, like, I didn't have an actual journal. I don't know why I was doing it that way, whatever, like, in a Word doc, I don't know.
I've done that too.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if it's the typing or I just, like, too lazy to buy a book. I don't know. I don't know why I did it that way,
I've
but
done
I
it.
did. And this is so interesting. The reason I wanted to bring it up is because it does tie to this audience. This was also at a time where, for whatever reason, that relationship, it's not like I wasn't snooping in their things. I wasn't like looking in their phones. I wasn't doing some of the things that I later did when I started to really like my jealousy started to ramp up.
Mhm.
And so this is interesting that it stood out. So I was dating this guy. He lived kind of out of town. So he came in for the weekend. Well, I had to work. And so he stayed in my apartment. He went on my computer and read my journaling, all my
Oh,
stuff,
no.
and like got upset with me because I was talking about a previous relationship, like just processing some of the stuff. And I
Right.
was like, oh, I can't believe the audacity of someone to go through my things and to snoop
Right.
and read through my things. I don't know why that just popped in. And so, of course, now I have a podcast on like, hey, we're snooping. How do we
Right.
stop snooping? How do
Right,
we stop,
right, right,
looking
right,
at all
from your
these
own
things?
personal experience.
Right, right. Yeah. And it made me think of, oh, how I felt to be on the opposite end of that.
Mhm.
And I don't want that to deter people from journaling because what it actually did, and the reason that I also bring this up, and I want your thoughts on it because it was so incredible to go back even like a month prior, certainly 6 months prior, a year prior, and read what I wrote, and I was like, "Wow." I was, like, very intense about that thing at the time, or I was super upset about that thing at the time, or I was really letting that bother me, and now a month later or 6 months later, I'm not like, that's not a thing I'm not so upset about. So I just think it's a
Right.
great way to see yourself.
Right. I like how you use the phrase put some space between yourself and also some time, right? Between
Yeah.
when you wrote these things and now, and it gives you perspective on, oh, do I feel differently now? Or do I feel the same now? Or do I keep repeating
Mm,
the things that actually, wow, I remember reading old journals and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm still struggling with this that I struggled with two
yeah.
years ago. Like, you can either see the growth or you can see where you're still working. So
Yes.
it really can be a tool for your self-development and self-growth and understanding, what motivates you and, who you want
Yeah.
to become and your relationships, so many different things.
Well, I think that's so important because we maybe don't realize, like, how long this thing is been eating at us. You know what I mean? Like, you just
Right.
kind of like, "Oh, yeah, I'm still dealing with this. I'm still dealing with this. I'm still dealing with it." And then to look back and be like, "Holy shit, like, I
Exactly.
was talking about this 3 years ago. Are you kidding me?"
Yes.
Like, so I love that you bring that for us to look at that, hey, this can also be a thing, like, don't let it be 3 years. Or, okay, if it is, this is a way to recognize those things that, man, we really need to address this because it's obviously not going away.
Right. Yes, or even with the everyday positive, like, maybe you are writing the same gratitude every day, and that is something that, you can really say that that sparks joy. Or maybe it's like, "Oh, I keep doing the same self-care, self-love activity every day. Maybe I should switch it up." Or maybe that thing is super life-giving for me, and I'm gonna keep doing that. It's just another way to look inside.
Mhm. Well, I love the story of how you started season journals. So, do you mind sharing and kind of the evolution then from when you started to now, like all these different areas of life?
Yes, of course. I was working with engaged couples as a wedding stationer before I started season journals and just had a lot of conversations. Doing stationery is fun and creative and people open up to you. And so I got really close with my couples and just kind of understood that planning a wedding is really stressful and
Yeah.
not a lot of fun all the time. And by the time that they came to pick up their day of stationery, they were like, I just want to get this thing over with. And that was kind of a aha moment to me that maybe I could create something and combine some of my passions of design and storytelling. And, I've been a
Mhm.
lifelong journaler to create a product that kind of was a keepsake. I was also thinking, the wedding stationery gets thrown in the recycle bin. So what if I could have something that the couples could use as a tool to A, plan their wedding, B, get closer throughout the process, and C, have this amazing keepsake at the end of the day that lives long after their wedding day.
Mm.
And so I named the company Season Journals, knowing that this is just one short, could be a year, could be 2 months, people get married. So short season, but maybe there's obviously plenty more seasons that comprise our lives. And I started with one, and now we have three different milestone seasons. And then last year we launched our Everyday Positive, which is our venture into everyday well-being and less of a specific milestone and more for everyday self-care, gratitude, and growth. So the seasons are so fun. I talked to tons of people researching and interviewing and coming up with the content for the journals, things that people would want to remember, things that they wish they had documented. And so we
Yeah.
created those over the past 5 years, slowly, slow growth, but it's been intentional, and now we're excited to move into the wellness space as well.
I mean, and they're so beautifully made too. So,
Thank you.
congrats on that. It's a really pretty thing to have, which I
Thank
love.
you.
Like, of course, I could journal just in a spiral notebook, but who wants to do that? No, I want it to be like this pretty, thing, and yours definitely is that. So, thanks for putting in the extra effort to
Oh,
get it
of
there.
course. That's my designer within me. I have to make sure the paper is nice, the linen is nice, and
Yeah.
something that people can keep for a long time.
Yeah, I like the part too about the gratitude. I was just talking in a recent podcast episode about this kind of season in my life where, I was really bringing it up to my husband like, "Oh, at the time both sets of our parents are still alive, our kids are healthy, the dogs here, all it was just such a good time." And
Yes.
I wanted to capture that because you're right, even in those things, especially like a wedding or a pregnancy or some of these things that are very exciting times in our life, but they can be stressful and a lot is going on and we just miss capturing those things.
Right. And I like to describe our journals as both keepsakes, but also tools. Like they are based, they have activities within them that are based, in relationship building. So there's a section in the marriage journal all about change because so much change happens within the first few years of marriage. And that might not seem very exciting. That's like, there's another section that's like documenting all of our travels. Like that might be more fun. But there's actually, I like to say there's a lot of substance in the journals that actually are tools to use to work through your challenges, because
Yeah.
that's what I was asking. Like, what were the challenges in your first year of marriage? What were the challenges in your pregnancy? What would actually help you? So it's some of the, fun, exciting stuff and some of the challenging stuff. That's life.
Right. And I like that kind of going back to the promise. I like in just the whole idea of journaling, but it's a way to ask yourself more questions about the thing too. Like, I'm taking the time to sit and write about this. And as I'm writing, my brain is focused on that. And I think that's what happened of me remembering, that memory that I hadn't thought about in forever because I'm focused on it, I'm thinking about it. And especially if we're writing about it, these either really wonderful memories that may come up or these things where you're like, "Oh, like, I totally forgot that I experienced that, and maybe there's some thread of what's going on with me now from that experience."
Right. Absolutely.
So what do you think, um, when I mean, you've been doing this for a little bit now and you have the different seasons, anything that comes to mind of like, oh, someone really got something fantastic out of journaling or anything that they've shared with you?
I love the stories of people saying that they wanted to, share the journal after they used it. That's the best
Mm.
review, right? So I see when the gift notes come through on our orders, I used this during
Oh.
my pregnancy, enjoy, use this as well, and seeing those, seeing someone pass it on once they've had it, is really, really special. And then also with the everyday journal, just having people tell me about how it's changed their morning routines or changed their daily outlook. I mean, to be part of someone's daily routine is a huge honor. Obviously the seasons and the milestones is a huge honor as well, but maybe you're doing that a few times a week, maybe once a month. So it's really, really special when somebody tells me that it's helped them have a more positive outlook on their day.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's talk to the person at the beginning where I said, okay, maybe you're not a journaler
Yes.
yet, or maybe you're like, I don't think that's me. If we said, hey, just take 5 minutes to give a little bit of time to journaling, what do you think? How should their approach be? What do you think they should do if they just are like, okay, I'm going to do it for 5 minutes? What should they do in that five
Yes.
minutes to get the
I
most out
think
of
if
it?
you just have a blank journal, no guided journal, the best thing to do for 5 minutes is do a gratitude stream of conscious
Mm,
list. You just start, listing as many things as you can for 5 minutes. It could be 3 minutes, or it could be, make a list of 10. It could be whatever metric you want. But just that which will change your brain a little bit into thinking of the positivity. Sometimes when we tend to just stream of conscious, right? And I do this, I think it's just a natural thing we do as humans. We tend to go to the negative. And so that's why I suggest gratitude. Um, and like I said, the gratitude study that was done was that if you do it once a week, that has mental health benefits, actually feelings of joy and happiness and life satisfaction. So gratitude is also the one that's been more studied than others. So I think we're
mm.
starting to learn more about the benefits of gratitude journaling
Oh,
in
for sure.
in recent years.
Yeah, there's a guy I listen to that's it's a different topic, his name's Ben Azadi, he does, like, keto and all that stuff, and he talks about taking vitamin G, which is, like, gratitude. I'm
Oh,
like, "That
love
is
it.
so freaking
I
clever,
love
I
it.
love it." I know, so, I think I mean, like you said, there are studies that show doing the gratitude, can really make a total difference, so that's great. If you've got 5 minutes, just start there, just like, "What am I thankful for? What am I glad that's happening right now?"
Right. And if you don't even have a journal, that's okay. Just write it on a piece of paper. Write it in
Yeah,
your notes
in your
app.
phone notes, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. If do you recommend like, what is the best do you think should people journal in the moment? Should we have it, like, where there's a specific time of day and then we kinda recap? Do you see any difference or does it matter?
I think it's whatever works for you, and I think it's helpful to have it out in front of you. So it's like a reminder. A friend told me she just has it like on her little nightstand with her other morning routine things, and she does it before she goes downstairs. So it's like having a cue and like some of those different habit building methods. But also I've talked to people who are like, my morning routine is so rushed. There's no way. And I actually like to do it around like 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning after everything's settled. I'm at work or I'm, in my home office, and then I can do it. Or at lunch. Some people definitely love journaling in the evenings. That's not me, but I know people who that's exactly what they like to do to calm their mind for, part of their bedtime routine prep to be able to fall asleep if you have trouble sleeping. Journaling's also a great method for that, to get some of those thoughts out. So,
Yeah, I think that's where I am. I'm, like, kind of like a end of the day type person,
yeah.
that like, "Oh, okay," like, just thinking about the whole day in general. I do wanna say too, I think, and hopefully you'll agree with me, like, don't make it a thing of like, "Oh, I have to do this." If you
No,
forget a day or 2 or you don't feel like doing it, like, totally fine. Don't give up on it though. Just like, "Oh, okay, I've got a minute now to go do this thing." Right?
exactly, exactly. Like I said, it shouldn't be another chore. You shouldn't be mad at yourself for missing a day. All of our journals are undated. I tell people, like, we're not putting dates on things because we are skipping days. Like, just build that in. Don't even try, because then you'll have that false sense of that you failed something, and that's not what we're after.
Yeah, like, "Oh, the my last entry was in January, oops," you know? And
Exactly.
it's December, no. Okay, I think that's fantastic. Again, I love these, and I love that you have prompts in there to just get someone's kind of mind thinking, and, they don't have to start from scratch. So that is fantastic. Where can they go to get these journals? Whether it's one of the like, "Oh, I'm pregnant and I wanna, I really wanna capture this," or "I'm getting married," or just your new general one. Where do they go?
Yes, you can buy them on our website at seasonjournals.com, and we're also available on Amazon.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, any last tips you want to give us for journaling? Anything that you've noticed? Anything that you think we should consider or um, do?
I think the very simple practice of starting, I always tell people it's the hardest part is to get started, even to like you said, crack open that first page of the journal. It's a nicer journal. You don't really want to start it, especially with the seasons. They go by so fast. But I
Yes.
say if you just do it, you will be so happy at the end of it that you have it. And if it's not working for you, then put it down and come back to it later. It's not something to add pressure, it's something to add joy, connection with yourself and others, and make it your own.
I love it. And okay, so if your brain is like me, order 2 of them so then you can keep the one. I'm serious. This is a thing for me of like, oh, I don't want to mess it up by writing in it.
It's the thing for
So
me too. I just bought a new work notebook and I haven't opened. It's just sitting there waiting for me.
same. It's the worst, strangest thing. I don't understand that. But so, okay, so buy 2. You can write the heck out of one of them, and then you can keep the other one to like, okay, this is my pretty one that I'll start
Yeah, we do
whenever.
have I call it the friend pack. It's 2. You could keep one, give one to a friend. So,
There you go.
it's
Or
a
keep
friend
both of
pack.
them for yourself.
Or keep both. Yep, we won't tell.
Yeah. And that thank you so much for being here and just sharing a little bit of journaling, reminding us how incredibly valuable this can be, whether it's just, hey, I want to document my life, or I want to show gratitude for the things that are happening, or oh, I have all these spiraling negative thoughts and I want to, and they're all, jagged and incomplete. I want to get them out on paper. So thank you for giving us a tool to do that.
Thank you, Shannon. It was my pleasure. I'm so grateful for the opportunity.